Welcome everybody. We will start now the Modern Success lecture. If you're tuning in live on YouTube, as always, make sure that you like the video on the way in, and also remember that this is my weekly lecture for Modern Success. So if you don't know already, I'll do 10 or 12 minutes here, and then I will turn it off and continue with the people who are on the program. As always, in the description of every video, and on this one too, you can go to my website and sign up for Modern Success. It's truly a great program. Okay, so let's get started. Today, what I want to talk about with you guys is linguistics, right? Or what to say. I know I talk about a lot of other stuff now and it's really evolved, but today I want to focus primarily on speech, your patterns, what to do, what not to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about like magic words, words that trigger specific emotions in people, matching sensory modes, embedded commands, presuppositions. So a lot of people who love NLP, I'm going to touch on that a little bit. I don't know how much I'll cover here on the free lecture, but I really want to focus today because whether you realize it or not, every single word that you guys say, right, for all of you watching on the different devices, every word has an emotion associated with it. Okay? Listen to that carefully. Every word has an emotion attached to it. And in some cases, most of them are general. In some cases, right, exceptions to the rule, there's one word for somebody might mean pleasure and another one pain. However, we're going to speak in a general sense here, right? When I say the word success, the emotion that it causes in people or promotes is something positive, happiness, you know, or whatever it is that you want to label it as far as happy. Right? When you think of like trust, like the word guarantee, right? I guarantee this work, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, Mr. Customer, right? That invokes trust. And a lot of times I believe that people make a mistake because they think that, okay, just when I'm pitching, I need to be careful or I need to be very selective of my words. And the reality is that in every interaction from hello all the way to the end, you need to have a strategy. You have to for sure have a strategy. And secondly, you need to take a lot of these techniques and make sure that you're applying them and peppering certain things into different parts of your presentation, really making sure that you have a complete package. And I think that's what's missing with most people is they'll grab one concept and they'll think this concept is the end all be all, when in reality it's just one piece to the puzzle. Okay, so one thing that you guys have to understand is like when you're selling is people don't like being told what to do, right? We feel like we have to be aggressive. A lot of the old school sales schools are like, you know what, you need to, you know, close 5 times and do all that, and that's great. But there's a fine line between I'm basically forcing them or bullying them and I'm being smooth. What you want is a model that allows the person that you're selling, right, the customer, to believe that it was them that came up with the idea. When you make the idea theirs, that's when you're a master salesman. Okay? When the idea is theirs, there's no resistance. That's why a lot of times, like in my listing presentation, for all you realtors specifically, when we come up with the price, I structure my presentation in a way to make them say the price and to make it seem like they came up with the price. So now when we agree on the price, there's little to no resistance at all. And I don't have to play this game where I'm fighting them. You see what I mean? And I know a lot of people struggle with that in real estate. Now, with some of the stuff I'm going to teach later in this lecture, it's going to help you with that, right? And there's a very fine line between bullying and being smooth. And what I want you to do is be able to take your idea, implant it in their mind, and then have them think to themselves that they came up with it. And now when you guys come to an agreement, whether it's to, you know, they hire you for your service or they buy your product, it's now their idea and it's not you forcing it on them, all right? When we think of linguistics, we think of words, right? Words have energy. I saw somebody comment words have energies and curses behind them. Totally true. Totally true. And, you know, I started dissecting a little bit. I wrote a bunch of stuff down. But what I want to start with is there's a couple words that I want to bring to your attention that some of them are basic, some of them aren't. And it's just for you to be very aware of it, right? I always talk about awareness and consciousness, right? Like you need to be aware of the words that you're saying, how the response is in the customer, and you need to be able to, in real time, in the moment, be able to make adjustments. Like if I say something, you know, if I say something and I get a negative reaction from them, I need to take note. What did I say and how did I say it so I can avoid that, right? Now, one word, I'm just going to give you 3 or 4 words that I, just as examples, right? We'll give more later on in the lecture, that I have completely like taken out of my vocabulary when it comes to customers. Is we know that when you want somebody to do something, right? What do people in your life tell you that causes resistance? Like if somebody's telling you that you should do something, hey, you know what? You should lose some weight. You should go on a diet. Oh, you know what? You really should go to that seminar. That immediately, the word should is like a resistance trigger for a lot of people. If someone else tells you what you should do, you're like, don't tell me what I should do. Your immediate response is negative. And I hear that word said by a ton of people. Oh, do you want this? Well, you should do this. Wrong. That's a word you have to eliminate. Now, this goes beyond what you say to a customer. This is also for you too. Because if you start telling people, you know what, yeah, I should really go on a diet, you're already fucking yourself, basically. All right? You need to replace that word with, if I'm talking to somebody and I really want to say that word, I replace it with something more powerful. Like, we must adjust the price. Like if, let's say, again, real estate, I'm telling somebody to lower their price, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to say you should lower the price. I'm going to say you're going to want to adjust the price. We must adjust the price. That's a lot more linguistically sound than should. Right? Same thing with no. I never just tell people no, especially if it's a customer, right? Unless we've already established like a really good relationship, because the word no, again, triggers negativity in people, right? For the most part. Unless you have a trusted like relationship with somebody, as far as a customer, the word no is one of the worst things you can do. Hey, can you do this for me? No. Right? And we're taught a lot of times that an objection handler sometimes is no. Well, I'm a little bit more smooth than that. Right? Let's say they tell me to lower my fees, and normally we say, well, no. I would say, that's something we don't do. Lowering our fees is just something that we don't do. That sounds a lot better and is a lot more readily digested by somebody than just no. Right? Because when you get told no, you don't like it. Whether we're enlightened or not, you know, when you go out or you ask that person, hey, can I have that? You know, is there any of those shrimps left, for example? You're at a buffet, like, we don't have any, or no. You're like, dang, right? You always have this reaction like, oh man, like you're missing out. Or if somebody tells you no in a stern way, like no, you're kind of like, what the hell, man? Why are you telling me no? Or why you gotta be a dick about it, right? There's already like this whole train of like negative thought that goes with it. Same thing, another classic one is I never use the word cost. The cost of this, right? So if the cost of it is $5, right? Cost, I'm gonna say your investment, your total investment is $5, right? Same thing with down payment. I say your initial investment, or the amount you're coming in with. I don't just say your cost or your down payment, right? I use initial investment or your investment, right? Now, I know some of this is very basic, but you need to make sure that you're applying it and applying it on a high level, because I guarantee you a lot of you maybe have heard this stuff, some of it before, you're just not maybe applying it on the level that you must, right? See, I didn't say should, I said must. There's this magic combination. I'm going to go into it, and I'll get into it a little bit before I cut off the YouTube live. This is the model you need to do, because we're always taught to assume the sale, which is very correct, right? With your linguistics, you must, right? Now, you need to be very careful, again, because you're dancing with that line of bullying people and also being smooth, right? There's like this delicate balance. You can't go to the bullying side. So I came up with like a 3-prong approach. It's lead. You lead them, you direct them, and then you suggest with your language, right? Lead, direct, suggest. So you're assuming the sale, right? Let me give you an example of the opposite, right? Like bullying people. It would be like when you get those calls or somebody's like, you're not gonna pass up on this deal. You're not gonna wanna pass up on this deal. You would be a fool not to buy it now. Like that's kind of like pressure selling. We see it a lot at car dealerships. You see it in advertisements. It's like basically they're belittling you in essence with their language, right? It's wrong. You're not gonna pass this up, right? Now, there's also like 3 words that I kind of tie in with it. It's after, when, and once. For example, I wrote some stuff down here. In real estate, right, for all of you who are realtors, let's say you're talking to a for sale by owner, right? Somebody who doesn't want to talk to you, there's already resistance, and we say stuff like, well, as an agent, I can make you more money. right? You see, what we just did was we made a statement that's true. However, it baits or it draws out in them the ability to challenge, right? Whenever you state a fact or something like that, linguistically, if you state it like that, you're inviting a challenge from a customer. Because I'm stating a fact, but they don't know for sure if it's true. We know it is, right? Like if you have the cheapest product or the best product or whatever it is. I'm like an agent. As an agent, I can make you more money, right? So one thing that I do, instead of saying that, I say, well, after, you know what, Mr. Seller, after someone uses an agent, they notice that they make more money. Right? That is going to be not necessarily, oh, you're going to get the sale now, but that is going to enter their head, and there's going to be less likelihood that they're going to give you a resistance to your statement. Because we've all been there. When you talk to that one person and you know you're stating a fact, but you state it, they challenge it, right? But it's your linguistics, they're off a little bit. Right? Now, this formula I'm going to go into deeper right now, and then I'm going to tie it in with matching sensory mode, because we all know that as people we're like more inclined to be more audio or kinesthetic or visual and that kind of thing. So I'm going to dive into that, but for now, the free portion of the lecture, I'm going to cut it off over here on YouTube. You guys are always welcome to go to my website and sign up for Modern Success. It's also in the description of every single video. I highly encourage you guys to do it because it's really a complete package to help you guys. All right, see ya. All right, guys, let's continue. Now, I took a lot of notes, and I want to go over it here. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but what I said there that I just explained there is you have to be aware of claims that invite challenges, because you're making a claim. Hey, this claim is, boom, we can do this for you, right? We can, you know, this will change your life, right? We can say, well, after customers have bought it, they've noticed that the product has changed their life. One of them is this paint will never wear. That's a claim. The better way to say it is after, you know, after our customers bought this paint, they noticed that it never weared when they used it. You're making the same claim, just with the second, guys, with the second example. Now you're making it in a way that does not invite a challenge, because you're putting the burden on somebody else. It's still a fact, I'm not lying. It's still a fact, but they don't have that customer to prove it, right? So what you're doing is you're a little bit more linguistically tight when you're talking to them, if that makes sense, right? And it's something that I was looking at because I was like, man, this is so cool, you know, because anything that you claim to a customer can be seen as controversial. So by doing that, you're making it a non-controversial claim, right? You know, like people who have bought this product notice that blah, blah, blah. People who move into this neighborhood notice that it's peaceful, da, 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 for all you realtors, right? You can really start doing this. And in essence, you're assuming the sale with that language, but again, you're not inviting the challenge, and you have to be very, very, very careful, right? Lead, direct, suggest, okay? Now, let's talk about matching sensory mode. This is really important, guys, and I notice that a lot of people struggle with this. There's two branches to this, right? You all know that a person who, let's say, is more inclined to audio, when they respond to you, they're going to say, okay, I hear what you're saying. That sounds good. That's somebody who's audio, right? If someone says, I see what you mean, oh, that looks good, they're more visual, which the majority of the population is, and kinesthetic, right? They're like, oh, you know what, I like the way this feels. This deal is really feeling good to me right now. I think that this is the right deal, right? That's how they talk. So in essence, what you want to do is when you're talking to them, you want to notice how they respond by listening, and you want to match that. So if I know I have somebody who's audio and they're like, oh, blah, 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 I'm like, okay, like how is the deal sounding so far, right? I'm going to use the word sound. Are you hearing me clearly? Right? If it's a visual person, you're going to say, how does it look so far? Does this deal look, or does this home look like something that you could see yourself living in? How does this deal sound to you right now? How does it feel, right? When you come into this kinesthetic, when you go into this home, does it feel like it could be your home? Right? Now, all of this works with everybody. You just want to catch from your customer, based on listening to them talk, which one they're more like. And when you do that, you get more unconscious rapport, right? When we talk about rapport, I'm not talking about you guys talk about that you both golf or that you both have 3 kids or whatever it is. I'm talking about unconscious rapport that cannot be denied by matching tonality, matching rate of speech, right? Body language, right? Doing this, something like this, the sensory mode matching. Super important, guys. Super important, all right? Now, you guys listen when I make a lot of videos. You always hear me making references, right? For all of you who have bought some of my products, I call it reference points. In essence, what they are metaphors, right? And you guys really need to begin to use metaphors, because the words that we say are like the surface structure, and the meaning of the words is the deeper structure, right? So let's say, you know, I have a guy who is very into baseball. You know, I would say, you know what? This deal is a home run. That's a metaphor that guy understands. And even if he's not a baseball guy, that makes sense, because that's going to hit him emotionally. And a home run, you can say, like, compare these two. Oh, this is a good deal versus this deal is a home run. The second one obviously sounds better, because we know a home run is awesome. People cheer. There's so much emotional charge associated with that, with the meaning of it, that it will move people more, right? And basically the people who call themselves like, oh, I have the gift of the gab, I'm a good talker, they naturally will speak more like that than us, right? And by us, I mean like everybody who would maybe be deemed as like not being like a talker, right? Now, this, if I was you guys, what I would do is in all your sales process or your conversations day to day, I would, even like your basic scripts, I would add at least 1 or 2 metaphors in there, especially if you're going out and you're knocking on doors or you're cold calling people. This is really important, because, you know, a lot of the best points that I can make are because of metaphors, right? I do it all the time, and when you hear me say reference points, that's basically what I mean, right? I mean, this new car is, it feels like it's as fast as like the new F-15 jet fighter, right? Can you imagine the sound of the jet fighter? That's what this car sounds like on the road, right? I'm making comparisons, right? Oh, this is a home run. This is a slam dunk. This deal is a slam dunk. That'd be great with me, because I'm a basketball player. You see what I mean? But even then, I know what a slam dunk is, and a slam dunk is cool, right? So where can you guys now, looking into your business or your dialogues and stuff like that, start adding this in, right? Now we can start talking for, you know, some of you realtors, some of the stuff that you can do. And you know, a lot of this stuff is very basic, but like, you know, if I'm going to talk about presuppositions now, a presupposition, guys, is basically stating something that your statement presupposes something else. So if I say like, oh, you know, I'm never going to lose weight, you're implying that you're not even able to do it, right? It's not just that you're never going to lose it, it's you're presupposing now that you can't lose weight. So you need to be very careful that you don't speak to yourself that way, but also to your customers. You want to use that mechanism to your advantage, right? But at the same time, it relates to what I said in the beginning, is you can't bully people, right? Like, you're not going to be able to turn this deal down, right? Oh, this is the house, you have to buy this one. Incorrect. Incorrect, right? For example, let's say one of the kids likes the rooms in the house, and they have 2 kids. I would say, this room right here, would this be Jimmy's room or Adam's room? Right? And then the kids talk about it, and the mom would be like, well, this would be Jimmy's room. That statement, which room is theirs, there's a presupposition in there that by them having those rooms, that means they're buying the house. That's a presupposition in action right there, right? Well, and then when I'm like future pacing people too, telling them what to do, the presupposition is that we're going to work together. Yeah, after, you know, next week I can put the sign in the yard. This is a realtor, you know, talking to a potential client. Yeah, next week I can put the sign in the yard, and you know, next Wednesday I'll go ahead and already schedule, you know, my photographer Amir to go out there and take the professional pictures. And by Thursday, statistically, I know Wednesday and Thursdays are the best days to put the home on the market. We'll be ready to go, and yeah. So I'm already presupposing there with that statement. By me putting I'm doing this again just so you guys get it. By me putting the sign in the yard and having Amir come take pictures, it's already assumed that I'm going to list the home, right? So again, that statement presupposes that I'm gonna get the listing, right? So I just gave you guys 2 examples. That's really what it is. If you guys wanna look at it further, I mean, you can Google it and do a bunch of stuff, but that's presuppositions in action. You just wanna be careful that you're not using them against yourself and others, and that you're using them to move conversations forward, because that's really what it's about, right? Because when you presuppose, you're leading, right? Directing would be telling them, right? And then suggesting is just suggesting. It goes back to what I said in the beginning, that you have to plant the idea in their mind, right? So when I ask somebody, when I'm doing like a market analysis on their house, I'm like, what price was this? Right? I'm kind of leading and directing. Okay, cool, blah, 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 blah. So, and then I say, well, you know, based on what the market is saying, what price do you feel would be the right price to get your home sold and get somebody to choose your home over some of the competition we have out here, right? And then if they ask me, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna suggest we price it at the fair market value price of blah, 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 right? Again, but I'm suggesting. Lead, direct, suggest. Now I know I've done a ton of old lectures that you guys can look at on the Close the Deal to maybe go a little bit more specific, but I want to know right now if you're all following me thus far. You know I only have a couple people live. I never really have that many people live. You watch the recording. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I took so many notes for this lecture. It's like, oh, I even blew my own mind. Let's see. Gina. Okay. Let's see if I have any emails. Yeah, right? Cool. Nothing thus far, nothing thus far. 25,955, okay. All right, let's continue, guys. So, beware of claims that invite challenges, right? We went over that. We went over some words that you shouldn't say. And then, you know, if you tell people what to do, they're gonna resist, right? Matching sensory modes, sight, sound, touch, see, smell, like visual, audio, kinesthetic. The metaphors, right? Because words are the surface structure and the meaning is the deeper structure. The meaning is what hits them and moves them and entices them to make a decision, right? Now we haven't gone over magic words and embedded commands, but I will. And then after, when, and once. Those are 3 words you can use. Like after our clients purchase homes in this neighborhood, they immediately experience the warmth of the neighborhood. How great it is to raise kids here, right? After da 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 da. Now I'm implying that they're gonna buy the house, but I'm giving a presupposition, and I'm leading with that proper linguistics after they buy the house, right? Because there's the, okay, when you buy the house, that's more direct and kind of bullying, right? If I say, well, after people buy the house here in this neighborhood, they immediately realize how great of a place it is to raise their kids. It's crazy, right? That's a lot more smooth way of saying it that kind of goes in without any resistance. And that's what we want. We want your words and your communication to go in here without any resistance and not have them put up a wall with you. That way, everything that you say now is going to suggest to them because they're going to accept it. The moment the resistance goes up, you can't influence them anymore, all right? Yeah, lead, direct, suggest, after, when, once, assuming the sale, talked about that. So let's talk about some magic words. Well, the magic words, basically, ladies and gentlemen, is words that, like we said in the beginning, they evoke a certain emotion. Every word that you say. So when I say easily, naturally, unlimited, beyond, energize, thrive, success, guaranteed, partnership, right? Those are all magic words. Some of them invoke trust, like guaranteed, partnership, sale, right? Then there's one that is like urgency, limited time. Those create, that's more of like an action threshold word, meaning it gets them to move. Urgency, urgent, limited time, limited offer, right? So you have to understand these words, right? And then there's commands, embedded commands, right? Embedded commands. So Listen to this statement. Let's talk about the benefits so you can make the right decision and buy with confidence. Let's talk about the benefits so you can make the right decision and buy with confidence. There's two embedded commands there. Make the right decision and buy with confidence. Now, embedded commands, guys, are really simple. An embedded command is basically a command that goes in their head, and it's not just once you do it and they do it. It's going to be a succession of you doing it multiple times throughout a presentation in a script, right? So if I say, let's talk about the benefits so you can make the right decision and buy with confidence, right? It's not like I'm going to say make the right decision and buy with confidence. It's not that exaggerated, right? What I'm going to do is there's a little pause before and a little pause after. Well, let's talk about the benefits, Bob, so you can make the right decision and buy with confidence. You see? Another thing, if you really want to make it good, when you give the suggestion, you give a nod, like when you want them to say yes or agree. You always do. You can make the right decision, right? And buy with confidence. Buy with confidence. Buy with confidence. Whenever you make the commands, remember, they always end on a downswing. Upswing is like a question, like hello, hello. Downswing is statement. So when you're giving a command, you want to do a declarative statement. Hello, hello, or hello, hello. That's a question, hello, or hello. That's a downswing, declarative command. All right. So let's talk about the benefits, Bob, so you can make the right decision and buy with confidence. So the head nod, when you want people to think yes, it's a very subliminal, like not like this, but very like subtle, like yeah. And then if you want them to say no, you just give it that. If you want to price your home where it will sell, right? It's like this: price your home where it will sell, or sit on the market. So have it sit on the market for a while. You see, price your home where it will sell, or have your home sit on the market for a while. You see how it's like, I don't want them to say yes to sit on the market for a while, but price your home where it will sell, kind of giving it the little like, yeah, yeah. All right, very important, guys, very important. Now, that's basically a rundown of the embedded commands. They're super simple, like it's not very complicated at all. But what you guys want to do is, when I'm saying these things like presuppositions and lead, direct, suggest, after, when, once, magic words, metaphors, matching sensory mode and all that, what you want to do is, I recommend, and this is what I did, is when I was doing research on these topics, I literally would take one and get good at it, right? Then get to the next one, then get to the next one. Like the first thing, I've told you guys to remove a lot of stuff, like switch words out, not say certain statements. So immediately you would look at your portfolio or whatever it is that you follow, your scripts, and you would start weeding that stuff out. You would start taking it out immediately. Right? Second, you would pick the one thing, okay, I'm going to work on my embedded commands. So now when I say the script, line 3, there's a command there that says, get together with me, right? So we can set a time and you can get together with me so we can talk about the house. So I'm going to work on it when I'm talking to the client. I'm really going to pause a little bit before and after and get together with me. Get together with me, right? Like you want it to be enthusiastic and, we're going to plan for you to get together with me, right? You want to do it like, it's almost like you're telling your friend, hey, come over, right? Get together with me. That's what gives the commands powers, because they're suggestive. And when you want to give a command to somebody, in this case, you want to entice them, you want to be cheerful, right? So then you pick that, you work on it. Then you work on doing the sensory thing with your clients, right? Picking whether to say, oh, that sounds good, or that looks good, or that feels good, for example, right? And then you want to work on that. And then, the presuppositions, making sure that you're doing the right presuppositions by looking at your script and what you're talking about. Then inserting magic words into your script. Well, naturally, people who meet with me tend to feel comfortable, right? Here's a line you guys can use when people are being indecisive that works because of group theory, right? People will always do what other people do, right? So if they're having trouble, you say this: can I tell you what most people would do? Or can I tell you what most people do in this situation? They go ahead and buy the product because they know it's the best product. Or they go ahead and buy the product because they know at the end of the day, it's the best that they're going to get for their money. Or can I tell you what most people do? Is they go ahead and hire me because they know right now they're sitting in front of the best agent. Or whatever it is that you want to say, guys. Because they know it's the right thing to do. Because they know that I can get the job done. Can I tell you what most people do? Can I tell you what most people do? All right, that's how you do it. Boom. Done deal. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Let's see. Frank. Well, Frank, if I was you, dude, licensed in 2 different states, I would sell your brand as like an expansion brand that's already doing so well back at home. They're expanding into new markets, and I would say that you're like an empire that's growing. That's how I would brand it. You know, like if you're going from Miami to Philadelphia, say, you know, Frank's Team Frank from Miami all the way to Philadelphia, and we're growing rapidly. You know, something like that, so people know that, you know, like. They're like, oh, you know, where's your office? Be like, yeah, we have one in Philadelphia. We actually started in Florida, but we're expanding now because we're growing at such a rapid pace. You know, we've gotten so many sales or flip deals or however you want to pitch it, right? So you just want to make yourself global, big expansion. That's the word I would revolve around for you, bro, is expansion. Because I think that would help you the most. Can't argue with expansion, right? Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for the lecture was lead, direct, suggest. Lead, direct, suggest. It's so powerful. So powerful. Man. Cool. All right. All right, let's continue. So, any other questions so far, or are we good, guys? And when you lead, direct, and suggest, guys, you're implanting the, let me give you an example of like implanting the thought in their mind, right? It would be in how you structure your conversations. So let's say I have somebody, again, I'll do a real estate example because that's my industry. You know, there's this hang up right now during the holidays in December that, for example, they want to wait because nobody's buying right now. And I want to kind of have them say it, right? I don't want to tell them. Because when you tell them, that's when they resist, right? When it's their own idea, remember, they move. I'd say, well, Mr. Seller, it's interesting that you said that. Do you have any idea what the first biggest closing month of the year in real estate? And they'll say, well, I have no idea. In the summer? Yeah, June. Any idea what the second one is? No, December. December, right? So immediately, right? Immediately, what does that tell you about home selling right now? That's option one, and they'll tell you, well, it's better than I thought. Or you can say that they're not doing good or that they're actually moving at a rapid pace. And if he says, well, they're moving at a rapid pace, boom, he just said it. So his mind just told himself, December is a month in real estate where properties are moving. And I'm beginning this process of him selling himself, right? I'm directing, right? I'm leading the conversation now. And then what did I do with that? I just suggested it. I suggested the path for him to take, bad or good. He took good, right? I was like, that it's getting worse or getting better? Boom. You see what I'm saying? You see how this is all tied, guys? Great. So knowing that, right, how many other people do you know right now who are waiting until after the holidays? Well, I'm sure a lot of people, right, because they all think it's going to get good. So, you know, if you wait with everybody else and you put your home on the market and there's more homes for sale and the same amount of buyers, which situation do you think would be better for you to get the leg up and sell your home for more money? Possibly doing it right now or waiting until everybody else puts it on the market. Well, doing it right now, yeah, exactly. So doing it right now has a benefit, does it not? Cool. And you'll see that after you put your home on the market now, you're going to get a lot more activity than you anticipated, and we're actually going to get your home sold quicker, and you'll make more money. Make sense? Boom. And once we have it under contract, see, after, when, once, yeah? When we have it on, and after, and once, you see what I mean? It's just like a never-ending thing. But that would be an example of me having a conversation with the seller and getting him to say it. That's the most important thing from this lecture. It's not your idea, guys, it's theirs. And when you speak in that fashion, and you set them up with two options, or you just say, what do you think? They're gonna sell themselves, and it's gonna be their idea. And now, they've been influenced on a much, much deeper level.